if you are thinking about starting e-commerce business in 2026, you've probably gone down the rabbit hole of Amazon FBA, dropshipping, wholesale, and you are more confused now than ever. Every YouTube video, every guru tells you that their model is the best. And you are sitting and thinking, just tell me which one to choose. So here's what I'm going to do. I have tried multiple models. I have tried Amazon FBA, dropshipping, and wholesale, and I understand them inside and out. Inside this video, I will break down all three models, and you can choose which one actually makes the most sense for you based on the budget, on the time needed, on your goals, and on your risk tolerance. So by the end of this video, we'll know exactly which one to start with. So before I compare them, let's make sure that we know what each model actually is. So Amazon FBA private label, this is the model that I use for my own business. So with private label, you create your own branded products and you sell them on Amazon. So you ship them to Amazon FBA warehouses, and Amazon takes care of packing and shipping the products for you. It also takes care of the customer service. So you are choosing the product, you are improving it, changing it a little to make it your own, to make it better than the others, and then you put it on Amazon as under your own brand. Your product gets the Prime badge, which means 2-day shipping for Amazon Prime users. You own the brand and you can build a real asset over time. So this is the model that took my pet product from $4,000 investment to $43,000 profit in 90 days. So dropshipping. Dropshipping is the model where you sell products online without ever touching the product and without even holding the inventory. So when the customer buys on your store, and it can be on Shopify or on your own website, you forward the order to a third-party supplier, and this supplier ships the product to the customer. So you never see the product, you never touch the product, you are essentially like a middleman. So the appeal is obvious: low startup costs and zero inventory risk. So wholesale. Wholesale is a hybrid. So instead of creating your own product, you actually sell products of other manufacturers. So you buy existing branded products in bulk, so in high quantities, and you sell them for example, on Amazon. So you buy them at wholesale prices because you buy larger quantities. You are not creating your own brand, you are just selling someone else's brand. So for example, buying Nike shoes and reselling them on Amazon. So you do not own the brand, but you benefit from the brand existing demand and recognition. So now that we know what those three models are, let's compare them across the 6 categories that actually matter when choosing a business model. First category, startup costs. So how much do you need? With dropshipping, you actually need like around $1,000. And this is where dropshipping wins in this category, and it's the main reason why it's so popular. So you need a Shopify subscription. It's, I think, $39 per month. You need a domain for $12 per year, and maybe some couple of $100 for basic marketing. So no inventory to buy, no shipping the product, no warehousing costs. But here is the catch. You need to spend a lot of money on advertising to drive traffic to your own website. Whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, you need to drive traffic to the store. And this cost can actually add up very quickly, these advertising costs. So most dropshippers spend around $1,000 per month and even more on advertising. You need to test many ads to find the winning creative, the winning ad, and that's what eats your budget. Now, private label Amazon FBA private label startup costs around $6,000. So private label requires a lot of upfront investment. You need to buy inventory in bulk, so it's typically like 300 to 500 units. But you need to also pay for shipping, for photography, for branding, for launch and advertising. So based on my own experience, it's around $6,000 to launch a product on Amazon. And I have a full breakdown of all the costs associated with Amazon FBA. If you want to know about this, just click in the link in the description. Key point is this: private label needs more money. You need more money to start, but the money you invest is in building your own asset, the asset that you own. Now, wholesale. Wholesale startup costs are between 2,000 to 5,000, so it falls like in between. You need to buy inventory, but you do not need to pay for branding, for packaging, design, or product photography, because the brand already has all of those and you can use those. So your costs are mainly the inventory and Amazon FBA fees. The challenge with wholesale is that you need to meet the minimum order quantities set by the brand or the supplier. And those minimums can be higher than what you would order for a private label product. So the winner here is dropshipping for low startup costs. If budget is your main constraint, then dropshipping is a place to start. Now, profit margins. So how much would you keep? Dropshipping, the profit margins are very thin. It's around 10%. And this is the thinnest of all three models. Because you are buying individual units at a higher price per unit, because you are not buying in bulk. And you are competing with many other dropshippers for the same product. So price wars are very common. Price wars to the bottom. So after accounting for the product cost, the advertising, the platform fees, many dropshippers are left with just around 10% profit margin. So on a $30 product, it's $3. You need to sell a lot of volume to actually make a meaningful income. Now, Amazon FBA private label, the profit margins are around from 30 to 45%, depending obviously on the product that you choose. So here the profit margins are significantly higher because first you are buying in bulk at much lower price per unit, and you are selling a branded product that you can control the pricing on. So if you make some improvements to the product, you can actually sell it at a higher price. And there's no direct price competition because nobody else is selling the product that you are selling. My pet product runs at about 30% profit margin after all the costs. So after all the Amazon fees, after product costs, shipping and advertising. So on a $30 product, it's about $12 in profit per unit. So it's fundamentally different from dropshipping. Wholesale profit margins are between 15 to 20%. So they fall in the middle. They are better than in dropshipping because you buy in bulk, but you are selling someone else's branded product, which means that other wholesale sellers might be selling the same product, the same exact item. So this creates on Amazon a buy box competition. So you are only you only earn when your offer is featured, and this offer rotates between the sellers. So price competition can also drive the margin down. So the winner here for highest profit margin is Amazon FBA, private label. You own the product, you own your brand, and your product is different from everyone else's if you improve it. Another category is risk and scalability. So in terms of risk, dropshipping has the lowest financial risk. You do not buy the inventory in bulk, so if a product does not sell, you have not lost much, only in advertising costs. So you can test products quickly, you can drop the losers without sitting on the unsold stock. The downside is that your business is prone to changes in prices, which can be triggered by suppliers. So suppliers can raise the prices, run out of stock, or maybe they will ship poor quality products, and then you suffer. Your store suffers. Private label has the highest financial risk because you invest thousands of dollars in inventory, and if your product does not sell, where you are sitting on a stock and you will need to just lower the price to break even and sell it out. But the upside is enormous because a winning product can compound for months and years. Wholesale risk is moderate, I would say, so you are buying a proven product that already have demand, so the risk is a little bit less than private label, but you risk getting stuck in with inventory if the market shifts or if the prices will change or if the brand loses popularity. Okay, in terms of scalability, private label scales the best. because you build a real brand, you can add other products to your brand catalog. And each new product will benefit from a brand recognition, from a brand audience that you have built. My second product actually launched stronger because I already had an audience of people interested in pet products. So the compounding effect here is very unique to private label. Wholesale scales reasonably well, but you always depend on other brands. So if a brand decides to stop working with you, then your revenue might disappear overnight. Dropshipping scales the hardest because you can add like hundreds of products to your store, but you do not own any of them. You do not build a brand equity. Every product is essentially like a new bet, and your business is only as good as your latest winning ad. So winner for long-term scalability here is private label. Now, time and effort. Dropshipping is fast to start, but it's a constant work. So you can have a dropshipping store live within a week. The speed here is appealing, I must say. But here's what nobody talks about. Dropshipping requires constant work in terms of advertising. You need to test the different creatives, test different ads. And you are also dealing with supplier issues. Supplier might ship a bad quality product and then your store suffers. You have customer complaints because of that. There is slow shipping also. And you constantly need to look for another trending product. So there is no passive income in dropshipping. The moment you stop running ads, your sales will drop. There is no ranking like on Amazon, no organic ranking like you can build on Amazon. And this is not a passive income. Amazon private label, this is a slow to start, but it builds momentum. So private label takes much longer to get started, around 4 months actually, to get started from product research to then choosing the supplier, shipping your product to Amazon and launching it. But once your product is live, it's getting ranked, it's getting reviews, and the business builds momentum on its own. Organic traffic grows, your pay-per-click becomes more efficient, and repeat customers are coming back. By month 3, I remember with my pet product, I was spending maybe 5 to 8 hours per week managing the business, and the rest was on autopilot. So Amazon fulfills the orders for you. Pay-per-click campaigns, you need like around 2 hours per week to optimize them. Then organic traffic will do the heavy lifting. And this is fundamentally a very different lifestyle than running ads constantly like with dropshipping. This is much more passive income. You still need to do some work, but it's much more passive than dropshipping. Now, wholesale needs a moderate setup, but ongoing sourcing. So setting up takes a few weeks. You need to find distributors, you need to apply to them, get approved, and order the inventory. So ongoing work is simply managing the inventory and sourcing new products. It's less creative than private label and less marketing intensive than dropshipping, but it feels more like a job because you are always dependent on someone else's product. So the winner here for best lifestyle long-term, for being the most passive, is Amazon FBA private label. The upfront work is heavier, but the compounding effect here creates a real leverage over time. Another category, control and brand ownership. This is the category where most people skip this, but in my opinion, it's the most important one if you are thinking long term. So with dropshipping, you own almost nothing. You do not own the product, you do not own the brand. If you are dropshipping on your own Shopify store, you just own the store and the domain. But you are still completely dependent on the third-party suppliers for product quality, for the shipping speed, and for the availability. If the supplier disappears tomorrow, then your store is not getting any more traffic and your business disappears. With wholesale, you sell someone else's brand. So you're actually building someone else's brand. Every sale you make benefits the brand, not you. The brand can change their distribution strategy, they can raise their wholesale prices, and they can also start selling on Amazon themselves. So it's like building a business on a rented land. It can work, but you are always one decision away from losing it all. With private label, you own everything. So you own the brand and you own the trademark. If you sell on Amazon, then Amazon owns your listing. Yes, that's true. But if you start selling on your own website, then you own the listing and you own the customer's data. Because if you sell on Amazon, then you don't own the customer's data. So I always recommend started selling on Amazon with your private label and then moving a little bit to your own website where you control totally everything. Also, nobody can sell your exact same product. You control your pricing, you control your marketing. And here's a part where most people don't think about it, but you can actually sell your Amazon private label brand. So there are a lot of businesses and people that buy existing Amazon brands, and they look specifically for private labels with strong reviews, consistent revenue, and good margins. So you can potentially sell your brand in the future for 2 to 4 times the annual profit. So the winner for ownership and long-term value here is Amazon private label, and the others are not even close to that. So now, which model is right for you? Choose dropshipping if you have very little capital, like under $1,000. You want to learn the basics of e-commerce. You want to learn how to build a store, how to run ads on Facebook without risking much money. Or you want to test the products quickly without investing in a lot of inventory. I think dropshipping is like a great training ground, but I would treat it like as a stepping stone, not as something final. I would then transition to private label. Then choose wholesale if you have a moderate capital, like $2,000 to $5,000, but you do not want to deal with product development, with branding, or with manufacturing. You are comfortable selling other people's products, and you are comfortable with competing on price and logistics. So if you want like a lower risk entry to Amazon without the complexity of the private label, then it's a good place to start. Wholesale can generate a steady income, but remember that you are still limited. You have a ceiling on that income by the brands that you sell, okay? So the competition on those listings. Now, choose Amazon private label if you have around $6,000 to invest or more. You want to build a real brand and a real business that you can sell later on and that you can actually scale. You are willing to put 2 to 3 months of work up front, and you are thinking long term. So you are not thinking about making like a quick $1,000, but about building something that compounds and can potentially make you like $50,000 per month or more. It can actually, Amazon private label can actually turn into 6 to 7 figure business. It's actually the hardest to start private label, but it's the most rewarding. It has the best margins, best scalability, and the most control, and this is the highest long-term investment, long-term value. It's the model that actually changed my life, and this is the model I recommend for everyone who are serious with building an e-commerce business. So here's what I actually recommend if you are totally new and have like limited funds. Start by learning everything about selling on Amazon and e-commerce. So watch the videos, read blogs, study successful products, save your money. And when you have around $6,000, I would go into Amazon FBA private label. I would not spend 2 years in dropshipping because I did that. Maybe I learned a little how to do ads on Facebook, but that's actually it. I would not spend years building dropshipping store. That I could actually use those years to build a real brand that I can scale and sell on Amazon. If you genuinely cannot save $6,000, then start with dropshipping or even wholesale to build like capital and learn the skills. But you can always have the goal of transitioning into Amazon private label. If this video helped you decide which model is best for you, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos about e-commerce and also about selling on Amazon FBA. And if you're leaning towards selling on Amazon FBA and creating your own private label brand, then I have created a step-by-step course for beginners. I walk you through the entire process of choosing your first product, sourcing it on Alibaba, shipping it to Amazon, launching it, and creating pay-per-click campaigns. It is designed specifically for beginners with a clear roadmap, like without any overwhelm. So the link, if you want that, then there's a link in the description. Also drop a comment below telling me which model you are leaning towards to. If you have any questions about one of those models, also tell me in the comments. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.